Sunday school teacher, I'm glad that you've joined us. This is our last study in this series. We have spent several weeks in the book of Exodus. We have spent 4 weeks in the book of Leviticus, and today is our last session. Go ahead and let you know that we'll be getting together again next week, and we're going to be again looking at the second half of the book of Acts. We'll be in the second half of the book of Acts. But let's look at this lesson and finish up our series in Leviticus. We're looking at Sunday, November 26th. The title of this lesson is Set Futures. Set Futures. We're in Leviticus chapter 26, and we'll be looking at several verses in that chapter. The point of this lesson is that God promises to bless those who are faithful to Him. Oh, that's good news. But also remember that He is faithful to discipline those who are not faithful to Him. And that's what we're going to look at here in these verses. Moses' message that we're going to look at here was that the Lord promised to bless the people when they demonstrated faithfulness and to discipline those when they sinned. This final section in the book of Leviticus deals with the need for holy living. These chapters that we're looking at now are considered the holiness code. In our study, we will focus on the list of blessings and curses. And that is, depending on whether they obeyed or whether they disobeyed the Lord, the Israelites would experience blessings or curses associated with the covenant. When they disobeyed, repentance and restoration were possible. And that's important, is that we see the promise for restoration when repentance is sought by the people. So let's look at these. Leviticus chapter 26, verses 3 through 10. If you follow my statutes and faithfully observe my commands, I will give you rain at the right time, and the land will yield its produce, and the trees of the field will bear their fruit. Your threshing will continue until the grape harvest, and the grape harvest will continue until sowing time. You will have plenty of food to eat, and you will live securely in your land. I will give you peace in the land, and you will lie down with nothing to frighten you. I will remove the dangerous animals from the land, and no sword will pass through your land. You will pursue your enemies, and they will fall before you by the sword. 5 of you will pursue 100, and 100 of you will pursue 10,000. Your enemies will fall before you by the sword. I will turn to you and make you fruitful and multiply you and confirm my commitment with you. You will eat the old grain of the previous year and will clear out the old to make room for the new. And so here we have the promise. The Lord begins this segment of blessings and curses by positively focusing on the blessings His people could enjoy as long as they remained faithful to Him. And that's what we see in verse 3. He says, if you follow my statutes and faithfully observe my commands, here's what's going to happen. Here's the blessings that you're going to experience. The Lord's obedient people could depend on Him to supply their basic needs. And that's what we see in verses 4 and 5 when He talks about raining at the right time. Any farmer knows that rain at the wrong time is bad. Too much rain is bad. But rain at the right time and the right amount is good. And that's what God is saying. If you follow me, I'm going to make it rain at the right time with the right amount. God promises to do that. But also notice here that when he says this in verses 4 and 5, he doesn't say that if you follow my command, every household will have a BMW in the parking lot. No, it's not what he says. He says, I'll take care of your basic needs. But also remember